Hello, my name is Barb Suyama, and I'm a Career Center Manager at a Workforce Development Center. This video today is going to be about job seeking and job keeping skills. One of the first steps in looking for a job is to find out locations that have openings, and there are many resources for you to use to find out about job openings. One of the most familiar resources is the Want Ad section of your newspaper. The job openings there are listed by category. To find a nursing assistant position, you would look under the category Health Care. Individual facilities also post their openings on their company website. As an example, to find out about openings at a central city hospital, for example, you could type in that hospital's website address if you know it, or use an internet search engine and type in the name of the hospital to find out about openings. Your technical college's Employment Opportunity Center, formerly called the Placement Office, will also have job postings, and they enter the job postings onto a system called Tech Connect in Wisconsin. Job Service is an agency that lists job openings. It's a government agency that's free to use for both employers and the job seekers. Staffing services or employment agencies are private companies that provide services similar to that of job service, but they charge a fee. And these fees are charged either to the employer or the job seeker, and sometimes to both. Many companies, however, will only hire people who are referred to them by these staffing services. Research on job seeking shows that the most effective way to find out about job openings is to ask neighbors, friends, and relatives if they know of anyone who's hiring nursing assistants. This method is called networking. Many communities have active networking groups, and you can find out about these groups by checking your local newspaper. A job fair is usually a one-day event at which many employers set up tables at a specific location for a specified period of time. Job seekers attend this job fair and talk to the companies about any openings they may have. Many of the interviewers will interview right at the job fair. You can also contact companies directly to inquire whether or not they have job openings. You can use a telephone book, a services directory, or a Chamber of Commerce guide to get the names and phone numbers of places that you can call. And finally, workforce development centers are located throughout the United States. These centers are set up so that all or most of the resources I've mentioned are located in one building. To find a job center location near you, go to the internet, and the address is www.servicelocator.org and click on Workforce Development Centers. You will most probably be asked for a resume at some point in your job search process. A resume is a written document that highlights your skills and qualifications for a job in an organized manner. It's a basic job search tool, and very often is the first contact an employer may have with you. An employer will want to call you for an interview if your resume looks professional and highlights skills, abilities, and qualifications that relate to the occupation you're applying for. The basic elements of a resume are, of course, your name, your address, your phone number, including your area code, your email address, a career objective or position desired, a skills summary, education information, any experience and work history, and any special awards, accomplishments, or special memberships that you hold. It's no longer appropriate to include any personal information such as height, weight, hobbies, or interests on your resume. And it is also no longer necessary to include the statement references available upon request. There are numerous resources available to help people to create a professional resume. The Job Information Center at your Workforce Development Center, your local library, or the Employment Opportunity Center at your school have sample resumes, vocabulary lists, and other resources that can help you create a resume. These resources are usually offered at no cost to job seekers. Filling out job applications is also a part of the job search process. A job application is a form, usually different for every employer, that asks questions regarding your salary history, your work experience, and your skills and education background. It's customary to be asked to fill out a job application prior to the interview. The resume and the application are used to determine who's going to be called in for an interview. Although some of the information asked for on an application is a duplication of information that you may have on your resume, it's a good idea to take the time to fill out the application form completely. Many times the application and the resume are separated after they're turned in, and that's why it's not a good idea to say, "See resume" as a response on your application. Be prepared to fill out the application at the employer's work site. Bring a pen and also the address of your previous employers as well as your dates of previous employment. If you have to ask the receptionist for a telephone book to look up this information, you will seem unprepared and disorganized for your job search. Applications, like resumes, make an impression on those who read them. The way the application is completed reveals a lot about a person's ability to read, write, their attention to detail, their neatness, and whether or not they take pride in their work. There are resources at your local workforce development center or library that provide tips on filling out an application to ensure that it represents you in a positive light. Many organizations have online applications. If you don't have a computer at home, you can access these online applications at your local library, a job service office, or at the Workforce Development Center. You may be asked to provide names and phone numbers of references at some point during the job search process, either during the interview or on an application. A reference is a person who knows you well and will recommend your skills and vouch for your personal characteristics. Former employers, co-workers, community contacts, and instructors are good choices to use as references. Be sure to ask these people for their permission to use them as a reference before you put them down. Never use friends or family members as a reference because they won't be valued as having an objective opinion of your skills or your character. Type up their names, titles, and phone numbers on a separate sheet of paper and bring that with you to the interview. In the next section, I'll be talking about the interview. But before we begin, I'd like you to take a look at an interview in progress.
Hi, I have an interview.
Are you Sarah?
Yeah.
Sarah, I'm Barb Suyama, yes. I was expecting you about 20 minutes ago, though.
Well, I had all kinds of problems today getting... Oh, my gosh, there goes one of my nails. I had so many problems, and there's construction out there.
Oh, well, I have some time. Why don't we get started anyway?
Okay. All right.
As you know, this position is for a full-time nursing assistant position at our Kenosha Nursing Home facility.
Did I hear you say nursing home? I thought this was a hospital.
No, it's a nursing home. Is that going to make a difference for you?
No, I guess not if the pay is okay.
Okay. Well, why don't we start out by have you tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I really like pretty things. I like to collect things. I like perfume really a lot. I have a new perfume on. You want to check it?
Oh, that must be. I have allergies. It smells very nice.
Oh, okay.
But I may be sneezing a lot during this.
Okay.
What special skills do you have for this position?
Well, I babysat my brothers when they were growing up, and you know, I worked at a truck stop too, so I really kind of know a lot about people.
Okay, well, good. Well, why are you interested in working specifically for our nursing home?
Well, it's pretty close to my home, so it'd be really easy to get here. So.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me, Sarah?
Well, oh my gosh, that's my cell phone. Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'll be there. I'm at an interview right now, you know. Yeah, okay. All right. Bye. Sorry, it was my daycare.
Oh, so did you have any questions for me?
Well, I guess I'd like to know how much it pays.
Well, our salary is competitive with other nursing homes in the area.
Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Is that the time? I'm sorry, but I got to catch a bus. I can't miss that today. I got to get to the daycare.
Oh,
So,
well.
I forgot to ask you. Am I going to have to work overtime on this job?
Approximately 8 hours a month, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
Well,
Bye.
bye. That interview could have gone a lot more smoothly. Here are some tips that could have helped Sarah not only to give a better impression, but also to get information about the position she's applying for. When setting up an interview, be sure to write down the date and time that your interview is scheduled. Also, get the address of the company and be sure to get any special office number or building that you're supposed to look for. Find out the name of the person or persons that you're going to be interviewing with and ask how long you should allow this interview to take. Before the day of your interview, it's a good idea to go to the company website to get some information about the facility. For example, you can find out the size of the facility and what services they offer, whether it's nursing home, home care, or assisted living. If there is no website, you may find other information in newspaper articles or other kinds of publications. Staff at a workforce development center or the library can help you find that information. You can also prepare answers to typical interview questions prior to your interview. Be ready to answer questions such as, why do you want to work for this facility? What are your strengths? What special skills do you have? And why did you leave your last position? And many interviewers start the interview by saying, tell me a little bit about yourself. Practicing your answers out loud with a friend or in front of a mirror will make you feel more confident when you're in the actual interview situation. And remember that an interview is a two-way conversation. Of course, the employer wants to find out if your skills are a good fit for the job, but your job in the interview is to find out if the job is a good fit for you. Think about questions you may want to ask the employer. You may want to find out how the position became available. You will also want to know what kind of orientation and how long the orientation will be that they will provide for you. You may also want to know if you will be given opportunities to work overtime, and if so, how often. It's helpful to write these questions down and bring them with you to the interview. You should never ask about pay at the first interview. It will make you seem as if you're more interested in money than in doing a good job. During an actual interview, it's natural to feel a little nervous, but by preparing, you'll lessen that feeling greatly. Be sure your clothes are neat and clean and that you're dressed appropriately for an interview. A rule of thumb is to dress as if you are going to attend a church service. It's inappropriate to chew gum or wear perfume or aftershave, just as it's inappropriate to do these things on the job. Arrive at your interview approximately 5 to 10 minutes early. Arriving any earlier than that will make you seem over-anxious. Many people drive to the location of the interview a few days prior to the actual time. That will help them determine how long it takes to get there to ensure that they'll arrive when they want to. It's critically important to call the interviewer if you are sick or an emergency comes up that will prevent you from keeping your interview appointment. Interviewers understand that emergencies happen and will be happy to reschedule. However, if you don't call, it's very unlikely that they'll be willing to set up another appointment with you. Greet the interviewer with a smile, a handshake, and make eye contact. When invited to take a seat, remember to sit up straight and just rest your hands on your lap. Two of the most common mistakes people make when interviewing is to ramble on when they're answering a question or to not really answer the question that the interviewer is asking. Remember to listen carefully to the interviewer's question, and when you've answered the question, simply stop talking. At the end of the interview, be sure to find out what the next step is. If the interviewer doesn't tell you, be sure to ask if someone's going to call you, and if so, when. And you can make a great impression on an interviewer if you take the time to send a thank you note after the interview. Believe it or not, very few individuals take the time for this common courtesy. Even if you don't get the job for which you're applying, it leaves a positive, good impression on an interviewer for the next time that you may be applying for a position at that facility. Let's take a minute to see how Sarah's interview goes when she follows some of the tips I've mentioned.
Hello, I'm Sarah. I have an interview today.
Hello, Sarah. I'm Barb Suyama. It's nice to meet you. Why don't you have a seat and we can get started?
Thank you.
As you know, this is a full-time nursing assistant position at our Kenosha nursing home facility. And why don't we start out by having you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Oh, okay. Well, I really enjoy helping people. I had the opportunity when my brothers were growing up to take care of them after school, make sure they had healthy snacks, that type of thing. And I also had experience through the summers of working as a waitress. And you meet all types of people, such diversity, and you know how to take care of their needs that way.
Okay. Do you have any special skills related to this position?
Well, I do. I recently graduated from a local technical college, so I've had some hands-on experience from there. And I also had opportunity to take care of an elderly neighbor who was dying of cancer, and I would go over and visit with her and comfort her the best way I could. And it had an additional good thing for me in that I wanted to be bilingual, and it gave me an opportunity to practice my Spanish a little bit more. So I am bilingual now.
Oh, great. Why are you interested in working for our facility specifically?
Well, I've done a lot of research on it, and it has a wonderful reputation. I would like to be a part of a company like that.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions for me, Sarah?
Well, I guess I do have a couple questions that I wrote down ahead of time. I'm wondering about an orientation, if that's something that you have.
Yes, we do have a 12-hour orientation, and it's conducted by the supervisor on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So all employees go through that the first couple of days that they're here.
Oh, okay. And would I have an opportunity to work overtime as well?
I would say our employees average approximately 8 hours of overtime a month. The standard hours are Monday through Friday, but on some occasions we have a need for someone to stay later or to come in on a Saturday morning to help us out.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of flexibility. That wouldn't be a problem at all. I'd love to.
Okay, great.
So, what would be the next step?
The next step is that someone will be calling you on Friday. We're conducting interviews through the end of the week, so either I will be calling you or one of the other staff.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Well, I'm really excited about the position, so I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Great. Well, Sarah, those were all the questions I had today. I'd like to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You can see Sarah did a much better job with that interview in that scene. Once you've secured a position, there are some habits that you can practice to guarantee that you'll be a success in your job. Good communication skills are valued in any work setting. To develop this skill, say what you mean and mean what you say. It takes practice to convey thoughts clearly. A large part of good communication also involves good listening. When others are speaking, be patient, don't interrupt, and listen to understand them. Showing initiative is another skill that is valued in any work setting. This is demonstrated by looking for other work that needs to be done after your work is completed, doing it and then looking for more. Be enthusiastic, upbeat, and optimistic and positive about your work. Everyone has setbacks. Professionals bounce back and look for a good side of every situation. This is considered having a good attitude. If you develop one, you will outshine average employees. Integrity is also a quality valued by everyone. This means keeping your word and being worthy of your coworkers' and employers' trust. Be able to admit when you're wrong and don't blame others for mistakes. Appearance impacts our success in a job. Dress in a neat, clean, professional manner that shows you respect yourself and deserve respect from others. Being a team player is critical to success on the job. This means being a contributing member of your unit. Deliver on the commitments you make. Respect the individuals you work with, and if you can't respect them, you probably should consider finding employment elsewhere. Balancing your work life and home life can be difficult. Here are 6 tips that successful individuals have used to help them keep a balance. The first is to get organized. Do what you can the night before. Make sure your car keys or bus ticket is handy. If you don't have to start your day out late looking for lost items, you'll reduce your stress levels greatly. Only keep one calendar for all family and personal appointments and your work schedule, and keep your calendar with you all the time. Secondly, get plenty of rest. Health experts agree that lack of sleep is detrimental to your health. As a nursing assistant, you may work various shifts, which will impact both the quality and quantity of your sleep. Be sure to make sleep a priority in your life. Eat healthy foods. As a professional in the healthcare field, you are probably very aware of the importance of eating a balanced diet. You won't have energy to enjoy life if your diet is poor. Successful people also recommend getting regular exercise. It may sound contradictory, but nothing increases energy like exercise. Many people are able to fit in 10 to 15 minutes of exercise a day simply by going for a walk at lunch, for example. Do something you enjoy every day. Take time to visit with friends, read, write, do craft work, sports, or whatever hobby you may be interested in. And last but not least, allow others to help you. Remember, you can't be all things to all people. Prioritize the most important things to you and spend your time on those things. Learn to say no to the things that aren't important to you. There's additional good information about balancing home and work life in your student manual. That concludes our video today. Thank you all for your attention. I wish all of you success and satisfaction in your jobs.